The warm weather is here to stay. How high our temperatures will go and our next chance for isolated showers.
Revising math standards. Lawmakers are gathering, and how your child does math is on the agenda. The goal of these changes and what they'll focus on.
Let's play ball tonight. The Durham Bulls home opener at the DBAP. What you need to know if you're heading to the park.
WRAL News at 8 starts in less than 30 seconds.
At Leith Honda in Raleigh and Auto Park Honda in Cary, we make your buying process easy. And with every new car purchase, you'll enjoy complimentary oil changes and exceptional service. It's no wonder we've earned so many 5-star reviews. You'll also get peace of mind pricing with every used vehicle, and if it's not the perfect fit, no problem. Bring it back within 3 days for an easy exchange. Visit our showroom at Auto Park Honda in Cary or Leith Honda in Raleigh. It's easier here.
Live from WRAL News Headquarters in Raleigh, your number one source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
All right, sit down, lock in. It is 8 o'clock here on WRAL News on Fox 50. We have a lot to get to this morning. I'm Chris Lovingood.
And I'm Carly Haynes. You woke up. It was a beautiful day outside, and it's going to continue to be beautiful. We have meteorologist Chris Michaels here. Chris, beautiful day to play some ball.
Yeah, right. The home opener at the Durham Bulls Athletic Park. Couldn't ask for a better day. The shadow's over the stadium right now, but you can see the crews out there getting to work. First pitch temperature right at about 79 degrees. Partly cloudy, perfect weather. That's right, play ball. And the homestand really looks very nice, most of it at least. Out the door this morning, temperatures 55 to 60 degrees. Fayetteville at 57, Raleigh and Goldsboro at 58. Nice morning to take the dog for a walk as temperatures continue to climb. By 11 a.m., low 70s, already above average. By 1 p.m., we're in the upper 70s, highs low 80s. Temperatures stay above average all week long with minimal rain chance each afternoon. That may change with a cold front that arrives Easter Sunday. I'll show you the latest trends, latest timing coming up in a few minutes.
And we're keeping our eye on traffic this morning as well. I-40 and Lake Wheeler Road. We keep showing you this camera just because there are these pockets of opportunity where we see things slow down significantly and then it speeds up. And right now it seems that the pace is going pretty okay, but there is the potential that things could slow down as the morning progresses. This is why you want to make sure that during your morning commute, keep us tuned in on the radio, 101.5 HD3. We will let you know about any potential slowdowns that you may run into during your morning commute. All right, let's get over to a breaking news story that we are following this morning. Police in Goldsboro are investigating a deadly shooting overnight. They say that they were called out to a home on South Hollowell Street, and this was just before 1 a.m. And when they arrived, officers found a man who had been shot, and he was pronounced dead right there on the scene. He's been identified as 37-year-old Latavius McKinnon, and it is unclear, though, what led up to that shooting and if there have been any arrests.
And some breaking news. Part of NC 540 in Wake County will remain closed until noon after a tractor trailer caught fire. This happened westbound near Benson Road in Wake County. Highway Patrol says the fire was caused by a popped tire. Fortunately, nobody was hurt, but crews are still on the scene trying to tow that truck away. One lane is still open. And this morning, police are searching for a gunman who put 3 people in the hospital in Clinton. The shooting happened around 12:45 yesterday afternoon. Neighbors say they heard 5 shots total. The victims were on the porch of a unit in the Eastover Terrace community. Clinton police say the motive in the shooting is still under investigation. Nobody's been arrested so far. The agency has not released the names of the victims.
This morning, a Goldsboro fugitive is in custody after months on the run, and he's now facing at least 9 federal weapons charges. Goldsboro police say 34-year-old Daktari Harris was charged with possession of a firearm by a felon, and that was last year in January. Then he was released on bond, and then months later, in June, a federal indictment was issued against him. However, investigators couldn't find him until yesterday morning. Goldsboro police say after a brief standoff, Harris was taken into custody in Rayford. They also say they found weapons during this, and you can see those right here on your screen. Again, he is facing an additional 9 weapons charges because of this whole situation. Parents, just a heads up, state lawmakers are going to spend today talking about revising math standards for your students. And this will involve hearing proposed changes from the state's Department of Public Instruction. WRAL's Ali Kabdabar joins us live outside the state legislative building for that story this morning. Ali, these changes, they're meant to keep students interested in math.
Yeah, the changes would focus on real-world application, and state education leaders, they plan to give lawmakers a progress report on changes to math standards. Now, leaders are proposing changes that emphasize real-world application of the subject, and this is part of a national movement to revise its standards. Leaders are saying students are uninterested and disconnected from math, and that's why they're coming up with some of these adjustments. The Education Oversight Committee is at 10 a.m. WRAL will be following for updates. Reporting live in Raleigh, Allie Cadlebar, WRAL News.
All right, thank you, Allie. Happening today, NC State's Board of Trustees will hold an emergency meeting to approve the hiring of a new men's basketball coach. Sources say former player Justin Gainey is coming back to lead the Pack. And not only did Gainey play for the Pack from 1996 to 2000, but he's also from North Carolina. That Board of Trustees meeting is slated for 3 this afternoon. The athletics department is planning to introduce its next coach on Wednesday, pending board approval. And as NC State prepares to hire its next coach, former coach Will Wade has officially been welcomed back to the LSU Tigers. Wade was introduced at a press conference yesterday. He was asked about the timeline of him getting hired. He says LSU first contacted him about the job last Wednesday, a day before he was hired. Wade also addressed criticism about a perception that he's a, quote, villain in the sports world and that he got hired in a shady manner.
The people who need to know. And look, everybody has to, when there's a situation like this, everybody has to cover has to cover. Let's put it that way. And so I'm at peace with how I left. I'm at peace with what we did. And, look, I mean, they're pretty mad for a coach they didn't think was very good.
And Wade also said he heard about NC State closing in on hiring Gainey, and he wishes the Wolfpack all the best. You can follow all of these coaching developments from UNC to NC State and in-depth analysis in between. That's all on the WRAL YouTube page because we know there's a lot going on. Just search NC State or UNC.
A lot going on, a lot of shade being thrown too. Well, today is opening day for the Durham Bulls, and the team is bringing in the baseball season with a lot of new and exciting things. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey is live at the DBAP to talk a little bit about that today. Kelsey, fans have so much to look forward to tonight.
Yes, Chris, fans absolutely do. New food, new merchandise, and new activities here at the DBAP to kick off baseball season with the Bulls. You can see here that prep for the ballpark is already underway this morning. We're expecting to see hundreds of fans here at the DBAP. So if you're headed to the park tonight, we've got a traffic alert for you. Fans should take the Duke Street exit if they're traveling north on the Durham Freeway. For South Deck parking, take the first right on Yancey Street, then make a right on Willard Street. For North Deck parking, take the second right on Jackson Street. The Bulls are going head-to-head against the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs. The series starts tonight with an action-packed week ahead, full of fun for your entire family.
If the youngster in your family is excited about the baseball, grab a scorecard at guest services and some information on the stats on the board to keep them kind of interested. We've also got Woolly World Playground for when they're needing to go take a break from baseball.
And then, of course, this is another option for kids. Woolly Bull will be in the team store at some point during the game, so you and your family can get some photos with him. First pitch is tonight at 6:45. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Durham.
We do have an update from overnight in the war on Iran, as the Iranian Red Crescent Society shared this video right here on your screen this morning. They say rescue efforts are being made at damaged apartments and buildings in Iran, and this is after airstrikes were dropped on that area. Despite these attacks, the Trump administration insists talks are happening with Iran's leadership, but no word on who they're speaking with. Plus, Iran's leaders, they're denying these talks.
Global jet fuel prices have more than doubled since the war in Iran began. The International Air Transport Association's jet fuel price monitor shows the worldwide average cost now sits at $4.65 a gallon. That's more than 100% above last month's prices. Airlines have increased their prices through surcharges and by reviewing flight routes as a result.
Now, as for gas prices, Carly, the national average is now $4.02 per gallon. And in North Carolina, that average, it's about $3.84. In Raleigh, $3.89. And over in Durham, you'll pay even more at $3.92. Today, NASA will give pre-launch updates as it counts down to tomorrow's Artemis 2 mission. 4 astronauts are a part of that trip around the moon, including NC State graduate Christina Cook. Cook will be the first woman to travel beyond low Earth orbit and fly to the moon. In today's press conference, that'll be at 1 o'clock this afternoon.
Monday marked day 45 of the partial government shutdown due to the ongoing lapse in DHS funding, breaking the record for the longest shutdown in U.S. history. The partial shutdown breaks the previous record of 43 days when the full federal government was shut down last year. While the House and Senate have still not come to an agreement to reopen the government, some airports appeared to experience some relief from long lines and wait times on Monday after most TSA employees were paid.
Now, most TSA employees received a retroactive paycheck just yesterday, and this covered at least 2 full pay periods. The president signed an executive order to get the agents paid, and tens of thousands of agents have been working without pay for more than a month. Nearly 500 of them quit, including from RDU, at least 8 people quitting there. The Associated Press is reporting a decrease in long security lines and delays at major airports after the agents were paid.
Durham school leader fired. This is the 3rd administrator the district has let go after a student was harmed in 2024. The charges against her and how the school system is responding.
Plus, burn ban in effect. The Forest Service has banned all open air burning. How Wake County first responders are prepared to address that risk?
It's been one of the warmest Marches on record in our area. April features more of the same, at least at first. Changes on the way by Easter Sunday. I'll walk you through how that affects holiday plans coming up shortly. Happy Tuesday. Really nice start to the morning in Roanoke Rapids at 54, South Hill at 60 degrees, Siler City in the mid-50s, Lewisburg to the Triangle at about 57 to 58. It's more of the same in Smithfield at 59, Fayetteville's at 57, Sanford the cool spot at 52. As we head deeper into the afternoon, naturally, we're going to warm things up. We'll be in the mid-70s by lunchtime, low 80s between about 2 p.m. and 6 p.m., and 70s for the evening. Great time to spend outside and plenty of warmth left to go as we go through the rest of the week. Reason for that is a feature we usually see in the summer. That area of high pressure near Bermuda just continues to push in the warmth from the south, but eventually that breaks down, and it does so around Easter Sunday. I'll show you the changes that storm system is going to bring to our weather coming up.
Traffic-wise, we're taking a look right here at I-40 and Lake Wheeler Road, where you can see it's not too bad right now, but we've been showing you this camera throughout the morning, and there have been significant slowdowns, even snail's pace at one point, but right now it's not too bad if you have to drive on this road during your morning commute. And if you are headed out the door, keep us tuned in on the radio. We will tell you about those trouble spots the moment we learn about them. 101.5 HD3.
New video this morning shows the scary moments before a plane was forced to turn around in Brazil. You see those flames coming from one of the engines? This was a Delta flight that was headed for Atlanta. This happened Sunday. The plane returned to the airport in Sao Paulo. It's unclear what caused the fire.
Many people are worried about their Duke Energy power bills potentially going up. Yesterday, the State Utilities Commission held its first of several public hearings regarding the proposed rate hikes. It was standing room only at last night's meeting. Duke Energy is proposing an 18% increase in rates, and that would result in customers paying around $30, maybe $34 more a month by 2028. We're talking about more than 70,000 people who have signed a petition calling for an independent audit of Duke Energy's billing practices. WRAL spoke to several Duke Energy customers who say the costs would force customers into an uncomfortable position.
They're going to be determining whether to buy gas to get to work, food, medicine. And for people who take care of other people, run errands, handle their bills, it's going to be a lot of stress because people are really struggling out here.
And so this is the first of several opportunities the public will have to give feedback. The next one, if you want to go, it's scheduled for next month. And you can visit WRAL.com to learn more about the proposal.
Starting April 1st, people living in Rocky Mount will pay more for their utilities. The Rocky Mount City Council passed a motion to raise electric, gas, sewer, and water rates by about 15%. It's part of the city's plan to dig itself out of a massive financial crisis. The city manager told WRAL the increase may not be permanent. And parts of McDowell Street will be closed starting this week. This is because teams are performing repairs to the Raleigh Convention Center after that fire on the roof a few months ago. A crane will be set up tomorrow to load new cooling equipment onto the roof. The closure is expected to last a week.
A third Durham school administrator has been fired after a child with autism was found tied to a chair. A school system spokesperson confirmed Deputy Superintendent Tanya Giovanni is no longer employed by the district. In February, charges were filed against her, along with Tanya Wright, the principal of Eno Valley Elementary, and Aisha Hunter, the senior executive director of employee relations. And this all stems from an incident at Eno Valley in 2024. Police say an instructional assistant tied up a 6-year-old student with autism using rope, and you can read more on that story on WRAL.com.
The Speed a Little, Lose a Lot campaign from the Governor's Highway Safety Program is happening right now. Over the next week, law enforcement will have increased patrols across the state. The goal is to remind drivers that speeding carries serious and often deadly consequences. NCDOT data shows 335 people were killed in speed-involved crashes in 2025.
Every day, our troopers work crashes that could have been prevented. And too often, those crashes result in serious injuries or the loss of life. Speeding is not just a traffic violation, it's a very dangerous choice.
The campaign runs through this Sunday.
Tomorrow, part of Pullman Park will be back open. On Wednesday, amusement rides, attractions, playgrounds, and amenities, they're going to reopen while teams are working on the Lake Howell Shoreline Improvement Project. Lake Howell will be closed during that time.
The State Forestry Service is warning about widespread brush fires as a burn ban remains in effect all across the state. Several fires are burning throughout western North Carolina, fueled in part by debris from Tropical Storm Helene. Elsewhere, crews battled fires in Hoke and Robeson counties in recent days. Wake County first responders are preparing specialized equipment to address the fire risk. They're using brush trucks to reach off-road hotspots.
It does get difficult hiking through the woods, thick vegetation, and all your gear, having to move around the hand lines. That's when the brush trucks come in handy. We're able to get a lot closer to where the fire is burning, and the hose on it's a lot smaller than our typical hose on our fire engines to get those fires put out.
And unfortunately, crews say the ongoing drought could make conditions even worse. The Forest Service has banned all open-air burning and canceled all statewide burn permits until further notice.
And, we're telling people this on the news, and I know some people say, well, I don't really watch the news. It's like, look, if the burn ban goes out, you'll learn about it through social media or somewhere. You don't want to start a fire outdoors right now.
I've seen it all over the place. I mean, on social media, and hats off to like a lot of the fire departments and emergency managers, because they're putting out the message too. Mm-hmm. So hopefully it's reaching everybody it needs to, because we are way behind on rain. If you look back to September, you can see just how many months have been well below average in the rain department. So this drought has been months in the making, and it's going to take quite some time for it to really get relieved. Only a few slim showers and storms heading into tomorrow. Today, we're really not looking at much of anything. Tomorrow, we start out with clouds. We see a mix of clouds and sunshine, and the additional warmth after about 4 p.m. gives us the chance of maybe a couple stray showers here and there. I think Futurecast is a little aggressive on this, but after sunset, we overall are going to lose out on the chance for showers and storms. So it's about 20% of the area Wednesday and Thursday that sees that chance, maybe about 30% heading into Friday. Most of that is going to be near and to the west of the triangle. Better chance of showers and storms arrives late on Easter Sunday. At the moment, we start out with a generic time frame. Looks like it's going to be toward the evening. As we get closer to Easter Sunday, we give you a better estimate as to the exact timing. But regardless, ahead of it, we're warmer. Storms late Easter Sunday and then cooling off into early next week. Starting out mostly sunny with a few fair weather cumulus clouds over the southeastern Wake Tower camera there right on the Wake and Johnston County line. Temperatures by 11 o'clock this morning already in the low 70s. Will be in the upper 70s by 1 p.m. and high temperatures today ranging between 80 and 83 degrees. Henderson and Lewisburg at 81. And tomorrow we dial it up a little bit. High temperatures between 84 and 86. Again, with that little bit of a chance of some showers and storms. That right now, again, is about 20% of the area. So we start out the month of April feeling more like early June. Nighttime lows will be in the low 60s. Afternoon highs will be in the mid 80s. Right now, keeping the daytime chance Easter Sunday at about 20% and the nighttime chance coming up a little bit. After that, we'll see things cooling off heading into early next week with a Monday high temperature of only about 70 degrees. But hey, compared to 85 or 86, that's going to feel cooler.
I'm not complaining about that. No. Thanks, Chris. Traffic-wise, let's go ahead and get you a look outside right now at I-87 and Smithfield Road. It's looking pretty good for the most part here. No significant traffic or crashes that we're seeing on this camera. We've been kind of trying to take you to different cameras whenever we're able to show you about possible slowdowns. But right now, that doesn't appear to be the issue in this camera. Keep us tuned in all morning long on the radio 101.5 HD3. This way, you will know during your morning drive if there are any problem spots during your commute.
And opening day for the Wilson Warbirds against the Hill City Howlers has officially sold out. The team welcomed fans into the stadium this weekend after the official ribbon cutting. Opening day is April 14th. Those tickets are gone, but there are other great games in the opening homestand. Thursday, April 16th is Hard Hat Heroes Night. The Warbirds moved to Wilson after the Carolina Mudcats left Zebulon. So lots of fun games to check out. March savings. If you're looking for cleaner air or doing some spring cleaning, 5 on Your Side's Keely Arthur shows you the best deals for this month. If you see breaking news, have a story tip, or take video or pictures, report it to us. Go to WRAL.com/report it.
As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM. In Durham, 96.5 FM. And everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
Hey, how you doing? It's 8:26. I am Carly Haynes. It was a beautiful day as we were waking up today. Feels like June, but it's only March. Let's go to meteorologist Chris Michaels. Chris, a hot one today in the 80s.
Yeah, low 80s today and making it into the mid 80s over the next few days. So it's a consistent stretch of that June-like warmth that you were talking about. A little on the breezy side, so we don't have to deal with all the humidity that you would expect in June. That's also reducing our storm chances mid to late week. It's only about 20 to 30% of the area at sea's the chance for showers and storms. But this front's going to try and change that up as we head toward Easter Sunday. I'll show you the latest trends and timing over on Fox 50 in about 3 minutes.
All right, Chris, thank you. And we are getting a live look at I-87. This is at Smithfield Road. Looks like we are moving along there as the morning rush hour continues on. No big slowdowns to report for you at this moment. That is good news. But if you want to stay up to date on any incidents that are happening in the area, you can listen in 101.5. Police are searching for a gunman who put 3 people in the hospital in Clinton. It happened yesterday in the Eastover Terrace community. The agency has not released the names of the victims. Tonight is the Durham Bulls home opener at the DBAP. The Bulls are going head-to-head against the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs. First pitch is at 6:45 p.m. And next on Fox 50, state lawmakers are expected to learn more about student cell phone use in the classroom. Coming up on Today, a barrier-breaking female pilot sharing her story in honor of Women's History Month.
The warm weather is here to stay. How high our temperatures will go and our next chance for isolated showers.
Cell phones in class. Lawmakers are gathering and they'll be looking into how your students use cell phones in schools. What this could mean for students.
Play ball. The home opener for the Durham Bulls is tonight. What you need to know if you're heading to the park. Good morning. Thanks so much for joining us. I hope you have a nice cup of coffee and ready for a beautiful day. I'm Carly Haynes.
And I'm Chris Lovingood. Yep, you may be hopping in the car this morning, want to know what the temperature is going to be like. Well, Chris, is this roll down the window temperature yet? Have we hit that for the day?
I think we've hit that for the day. Yeah, it's usually like the 60s or 70s before I start to do that. And then by the afternoon, we're in the low 80s. Starting out, plenty of sunshine over North Hills and temperatures rising pretty quickly. Clayton already at about 60 degrees. Mooresville, Knightdale, Garner, Raleigh, and Fuquay all at 58. It feels nice and comfortable out there. Midday temperatures in the mid 70s. The lunch break outside, fantastic idea. Just a little breezy. Weigh the napkins down. Temperatures will be in the low 80s between about 2 p.m. and 6 p.m. and then in the 70s for the first pitch of the home opener for the Durham Bulls. More of the same weather throughout the rest of the week. Southwest wind pushes us into the 80s. Shower and storm chances limited for the time being, but that frontal system to the west makes its arrival by Easter Sunday. I'll share the latest trends and how that shakes things up heading into next week coming up.
Chris, thank you. And we are getting a live look at I-40 at Lake Wheeler Road. Taking a few hits there, but it looks like traffic is moving along. No backups to report on that road at this point. There are a few backups on I-40 near Avon Ferry earlier this morning. It looks like most of that has cleared up, so you should be good to go as you head out on your morning commute. Of course, always stay updated. Listen in on 101.5.
And I'm Laura Levine here at the WRAL Live Center this morning, listening into Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth really take questions right now after a briefing here from the Pentagon on Operation Epic Fury and the war on Iran. He opened up the briefing saying that on Saturday he visited with troops who were fighting in the Middle East. He declined to say where specifically he traveled because of safety reasons. He did say, suffice to say, that the trip was an honor. I had a chance to bear witness, and I witnessed the best of America. Now, Hegseth also said during his latest briefing here that the upcoming days will be decisive in this war. He says American firepower is only increasing and Iran's decreasing. He told media here at this briefing, he says we have more and more options and they have less. So in the last month, he also broke down some new updates. He says that in the last 24 hours, we saw the lowest number of enemy missiles fired by Iran. He also says that the U.S. destroyed one of their bunkers recently. He says CENTCOM strikes are demanding and damaging the morale in Iran. He also mentioned that about 200 dynamic strikes alone have been conducted in addition to pre-planned strikes. And General Dan Kane, he also emphasized more focus on those dynamic strikes. That's where things in the operation are really leading to right now. So, of course, we're going to continue to listen in on this briefing and bring you updates.
Laura, thank you. And we're keeping an eye on the war's effect on gas prices here in the Triangle. The national average has broken the $4 mark, sitting at $4.02. In Raleigh, you're going to pay an average of $3.89. Durham, you're going to pay the most, $3.92 a gallon. And in Goldsboro, you'll pay the least at $3.81 a gallon. You can find the cheapest gas prices in the area or wherever you go with the WRAL Fuel Tracker. Go to our website, WRAL.com. Just search fuel. And breaking news, police in Goldsboro are investigating a deadly overnight shooting. Police say they were called out to a home on South Hollowell Street just before 1 this morning. When they arrived, officers found a man who had been shot. He died at the scene. That man was 37-year-old Otavis McKinnon. It's still unclear what led up to the shooting and whether anybody has been arrested.
We've been following this story here as part of NC 540 in Wake County is supposed to stay closed until noon, and this is because of a tractor trailer fire. It happened in the westbound lanes near Benson Road in Wake County, and Highway Patrol says the fire was caused by a popped tire. Now, no one was injured in this, and teams are still trying to get that truck towed away. We're trying to figure out also why it's taking so long for this to clear up, but we do know that one lane is still open at last check.
This morning, a Goldsboro fugitive is in custody after months on the run. Goldsboro police say 34-year-old Daktari Harris was charged with possession of a gun by a felon in January 2025. He was then released on bond. Then in June 2025, a federal indictment was issued against Harris, but officials couldn't find him until yesterday morning. Goldsboro police say after a brief standoff, Harris was ultimately taken into custody in Rayford. They say they found these weapons that are there on your screen. Harris is now facing a total of 7 counts of possession of a firearm by a felon and 2 counts of possession of weapons of mass destruction.
Right now, police are searching for a gunman who shot 3 people on a porch in Clinton, and all 3 were rushed to the hospital. They're expected to live, though. And that shooting happened just before 1 o'clock yesterday afternoon. This was at the Eastover Terrace Apartments. Neighbors tell us they heard 5 gunshots, and one neighbor we spoke with, he shared what he saw next when he stepped outside his home.
2 guys laying on the ground, and everyone come out the house, some crying, and we had to wait until the ambulance and rescue squads got here.
That shooting happened almost directly in front of security cameras there, and Clinton police say they are still working to determine a motive in this. This morning, state lawmakers are expected to learn more about student cell phone use in the classroom. And WRAL's Adley Kadhabar went to the state legislative building to talk a little bit more about how a researcher is getting ready to update lawmakers.
Yeah, lawmakers are set to meet with top education leaders talking about this. They're going to get an update on how often students use their cell phones in the classrooms. Now, this comes less than a year after a law went into effect to restrict cell phones in North Carolina schools. A researcher is going to present their study on student cell phone use to the Education Oversight Committee around 10 this morning. WRAL will be following the outcomes. Reporting in Raleigh, Ali Kathabar, WRAL News.
NC State will announce a new men's basketball coach in less than 48 hours. And sources say former player Justin Gainey is coming back to lead the pack. NC State's Board of Trustees announced an emergency meeting today to approve the new hire. That meeting is slated for 3 p.m. Not only did Gainey play for the Wolfpack from 1996 to 2000, but he's North Carolina born and bred. Gainey grew up in High Point. He played high school basketball in Greensboro. He also previously coached at App State and Elon. Students we spoke with say they're excited, but a little apprehensive about Gainey stepping in to lead the pack.
He's unproven, but I'd rather have someone that cares about NC State, that wants to be in Raleigh, and isn't cheating on us with someone else.
The NC State Athletics Department is planning to introduce its next men's basketball coach tomorrow afternoon, pending the Board of Trustees approval. And you can, of course, follow all of these coaching developments from UNC to NC State, including in-depth analysis and what Coach Will Wade had to say about the Wolfpack during his first press conference as head coach at LSU yesterday. It's all on the WRAL YouTube page.
People are pushing for the North Carolina Utilities Commission to vote no to proposed rate hikes from Duke Energy. Duke Energy customers packed a meeting last night to express their worries. You can see them right here on your screen. Duke is proposing an 18% increase over the next 2 years, and that could mean customers paying $34 more a month by 2028. Many customers say bills are already too high, and Duke says it needs hundreds of millions of dollars more to pay for grid upgrades and power plant maintenance.
We do recognize, though, that any increase is a challenge for some customers, so we take that very seriously. But we also have to meet the energy needs of our state. We added 150,000 new customers in the last 2 years. We had to add 50,000 poles, 4,000 miles of wire. Our costs have gone up as well.
And just so you know, last night was just one of several opportunities you'll have to give feedback. There's a virtual session happening tomorrow, and that's at 6:30 p.m. You can learn more about this on WRAL.com.
Starting tomorrow, people who live in Rocky Mount will be paying more for their utilities. The Rocky Mount City Council passed a motion to raise electric, gas, sewer, and water rates by about 15%. It's part of the city's plan to dig itself out of a financial crisis. In an interview with WRAL, the city manager said the increase may not be forever, but it is an important step while the city works to recover. And with the beginning of spring comes the start of a new baseball season. Opening day is today for the Durham Bulls. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey is live at the DBAP this morning. Kelsey, fans can expect a lot of new things along with some traffic if they're heading that way.
Yes, Carly, new food, new merchandise, and new activities to kick off baseball season with the Bulls. So you can see here that prep is already underway here at the DBAP. There's some folks that are cleaning off some of the seats, and you may even be able to hear some of the equipment that's on the field. We're expecting to see hundreds of people at the DBAP tonight. And if you're headed to the ballpark tonight, we do have a traffic alert for you. Fans should take the Duke Street exit if they're traveling north on the Durham Freeway. For South Deck parking, take the first right on Yancey Street and then right on Willard Street. For North Deck parking, take the second right on Jackson Street. So the Bulls are going head-to-head against the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs. The series starts tonight with an action-packed week ahead.
We'll celebrate on Thursday with Bark in the Park and Dollar Hot Dog Night. Then on Friday, we'll have our first Copa Night. And then on Saturday, it's Bull Durham Night. And then Sunday, we're having some Easter fun. There's a pregame Easter egg hunt on the field.
So that would be a great activity there for the kids. And we got this breaking news this morning that the DBAP is officially a Coca-Cola park. So you can get any Coca-Cola products from the various food vendors here. First pitch is tonight at 6:45. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Durham.
Your time is 8:41 this morning. Apex cybersecurity attack. Town leadership says the data of 1 in 4 people was compromised. How they recovered it after it affected tens of thousands of people.
Spring Savings 5 on Your Side shares the best time to score deals on big ticket items for your home, both inside and out.
And the big ticket to this week's forecast is the warmth and how long it stays. Temperatures will be in the 80s for several days at a time. And we're tracking a cold front right on Easter Sunday. I'm going to show you the latest timing and how that could play a role on your plans coming up. Coming up on 8:45, live look at the Gibson Play Plaza. It's already a busy start out there. Some families hanging out in the beautiful morning. Rain chances limited, although we do need them at very isolated Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday afternoons. We need it to get rid of some of the pollen. Over the course of February and March, we've seen the second highest pollen level reading, tree pollen level, I should say. That record data goes back to 2002. Today, it's going to be very high just because of the fact that it'll be warm, it'll be breezy, and it'll be dry once again. And it's almost all due to the trees, the pine, oak, maple, birch, and sweet gum. But we do have some relieving rain on the way at some point Easter Sunday. I'm going to give you a latest look at some of the trends and timing coming up in less than 5 minutes.
Oof, and I am affected by that pollen myself. All right, want to give you a live look at I-87 at Hodge Road. This is in Knightdale. We have an incident to tell you about. The left lane on the southbound side is closed because of a crash. You can see those backups there stretching all the way down the road. Be prepared to add in some time to your commute because the lane is expected to reopen by 10 a.m. We'll see if they're able to do it any sooner. You can stay up to date by listening in on 101.5 HD3.
Consumer Reports tracks the prices of its top tested items all year long, and this is to tell you when big discounts hit. 5 on Your Side's Kaylee Arthur breaks down some of the best deals that you can get this spring.
There is no doubt spring in North Carolina is beautiful. The downside, lots of allergies. If you're in the market for an air purifier, this is your time. As allergy season approaches, you might see discounts on air purifiers, but Consumer Reports says check the price of replacement filters that you'll need to change every 6 to 12 months. They can really add up. For a fast and efficient purifier, look for one with a higher CADR rating, which indicates how much clean air a purifier delivers at high speed. Often HEPA filters have the highest. Also, since they run all the time, noise matters. Roughly 50 decibels is about the hum of a refrigerator. March can also be a good time to look for deals on space heaters as demand drops. Just be sure to choose one with automatic shutoff and tip-over protection. And even though all of our men's and women's basketball teams locally are out of March Madness, if you're in the market for a television, you can still win big because a lot of companies offering them have them on deep discount right now. Keely Arthur, 5 on Your Side.
So if you didn't know, North Carolina is the #1 state in the country for adding new residents. New census data shows no other state added more people from 2024 to 2025. And most of those new residents, including more than 50,000 of them, moved to either Wake or Mecklenburg counties. Governor Josh Stein said the news proves North Carolina is a great place to live. The governor also said, quote, as we grow, we have to take care to invest in our infrastructure and our people. North Carolina is the only state without a new budget to fund things such as roads and infrastructure, but state lawmakers are expected to return to Raleigh next month to address that.
A new UNC tool is helping parents share cancer news with their kids. When 38-year-old Zakaya Nichols was diagnosed with breast cancer, her first worry wasn't treatment. It was how to tell her children. UNC Health developed the FACT toolkit to help navigate these tough conversations. It gives parents guidance and even the words to use.
Whenever you hear cancer, you automatically think the worst.
I didn't know what to do. So it was just a tearful moment.
What it gives parents is this guidance and specific language to use that is customized.
Doctors say starting those conversations early can help kids cope. Let's talk about what's trending. Celine Dion, for one, performing in Paris.
And Paradise Season 2 has come to a close. We have those stories in today's What's Trending. So Xavier Collins, played by Sterling K. Brown, he's got some big decisions to make after last night's Season 2 finale of Paradise. The drama by Dan Fogelman left viewers kind of unclear on whether Collins would accept the new mission. It sets the stage for the next season. Executive Director and co-writer John Hoberg said the plan is to keep a 3-season arc. And the filming for the next season starts April 7th, but I have not started Season 2. No spoilers.
Yes, I need to get on that because I'm very behind.
It's a very good show.
Okay. Celine Dion is making a return to the stage. She announced the dates for her comeback concerts in a video yesterday. She'll perform in Paris this fall, starting on September 12th, with dates through October. The singer is set to perform 2 concerts each week. And you might remember Dion had to step back from singing after being diagnosed with a rare neurological disorder that impacted her singing abilities. I have always loved her singing, her voice. So, yeah, that was a sad situation.
Yeah, a lot of people, they were happy, though, that she at least opened up about stiff person syndrome that she's going through, and hopefully her performances will go great.
Yes.
All right, so 4 astronauts are scheduled to launch tomorrow as part of NASA's Artemis 2 mission around the moon. What you're seeing here, this is a live look at the Kennedy Space Center in Florida, and that's where liftoff will happen. The crew will hold a press conference this afternoon before tomorrow's launch. NC State graduate Christina Cook, she is part of this team. Cook will be the first woman to travel beyond low Earth orbit and fly to the moon. She is the mission specialist, which basically means she oversees big picture operations and she knows how to get the team back on track in the event something goes wrong. But hopefully that does not happen. On board, they'll study how space flight impacts the body, and they'll also analyze the far side of the moon. It's a pretty cool mission. It'd be awesome to see this moment happen again tomorrow. That is liftoff. If conditions are not perfect for launch, though, they're going to have to delay.
And I love the NC State representation on that crew. As Chris said, the conditions have to be perfect, and it seems like it's shaping up that way so far.
It's shaping up to be pretty good. So the 45th Weather Squadron, what is it, 8:51, within the next few minutes, they're going to update the forecast. But right now, their forecast is an 80% chance of a successful launch, so odds are in our favor. Here's a couple of things that they're watching out for: the breeze at ground level and any sort of puffy white cumulus clouds that could provide some turbulence. So between 6:24 and 8:24 p.m. Wednesday, that is when we expect that launch window. Temperatures right now are in the 50s. Looks like the data hasn't come in from the airport, but we've been in the upper 50s and lower 60s, and mostly sunny over Zebulon. Things feeling and looking great in the eastern part of Wake County. Temperatures 81 to 83 all across the board heading into the afternoon. Warmer than yesterday thanks to that breeze out of the southwest. That'll keep us nice and warm for the Durham Bulls home opener this evening. First pitch temperature in the upper 70s as we settle toward the 7th inning stretch. Will be in the middle 70s, but will be void of any storms for the time being. Heading into tomorrow, we'll see a little bit of rising motion in the mountains and the foothills. 1 or 2 of those storms may try to sneak our way after 4 p.m. or so. Most of that would be near and to the north of the triangle and then dissipating by about 10 p.m. That's really going to be the trend for the rest of the week. High temperatures through Saturday at least will be in the 80s with slim rain chances. And as we head toward Easter Sunday, still very warm. Storms a possibility later on as we have a front coming in out of the west. But the high temperature about 83. Then we'll say goodbye to the 80s, at least for the time being, as that front moves through the area Easter Sunday night. High temperatures about 82 to 86 for the next several days to the beginning of April. Kind of feeling like the beginning of June out there. Overnight lows in the low 60s, and then beyond that Easter Sunday storm system, will start to turn a little cooler with a high of about 70 degrees by Monday.
Chris, I just noticed that bunny animation on the back of one of your graphics, and I was cracking up. All right, before we go to break, here are the winning lottery numbers. Good luck, everybody, and we're going to get another check on weather and traffic next.